Very good morning,
Very
Mr.
good morning.
Ameen.
Yeah,
It's been a privilege to talk to you.
yeah, same here.
Actually, we are bringing out a new phase of our podcast series today that we will be initiating a conversation to the international audience. Our main objective to bring this podcast or
Mhm,
have a collaboration is that
mhm,
basically we had a discussion for these things for almost an year. I, as a growth marketer, and you, as a performance marketer, discuss every types of industry trends which is happening right now in the market
Yeah.
in terms of platforms, in terms of objectives of the customer, in terms of the industries, in terms of the data attribution techniques, in terms of the data ingestion mechanisms, in terms of the data learning and data engineering, which is required for optimizing the algorithm, and the algorithm to be precise, Andromeda's algorithm from Facebook and
Mhm,
Google's algorithm per se, according to the estimate, these people have around 50,000 data points for each profiles.
Yes.
And that's the information which I received from one of the engineer, one of the people who is close to studying the algorithm 2 days back. So I
Okay.
need to ask you one thing, Ameen, according to your experience, which is a comprehensive experience of you working with clients from UK, US, and Australia and Middle Eastern countries,
Mhm,
how a media planner should think about
mhm.
now in 2025 to position his company as a new entrant or a late entrant or a regular entrant into the market for
Mhm,
each niche. How
mhm.
should he be looking for the basic parameters of KPIs such as impressions, clicks, CTR, CPC, and finally ROAS?
So, as you just mentioned, these platforms are having 50,000 data points in regards to a person because we have been scrolling through this platform for more than a decade now. Now, imagine, see, when we are preparing an ideal customer profile for our business, how much data points are we measuring by ourselves? You see the customer for yourself, right? Because few people walk into your store or maybe inquire about a course that you are offering, or they buy a product that you are offering. So we have apparently, less than 10, 15, maximum 15 data points about that person. What does they do? Okay. What type of job they do? What's their age group? Their gender. These are very little data we have.
Suppose मान लो कि a customer is coming on a basic note, I
Mhm.
think so that data points he'll be studying only for a maximum 2 or 3.
Yes, yes, yes,
And
yes.
Meta is telling that these people are studying around 50,000 data points on every profile, how to
Mhm.
optimize that content for the ideal customer profile or the intended audience.
Okay,
We are
cool.
on the same path now. You can continue.
Okay, cool. So imagine, see, earlier, five years, maybe 3 years ago, we were more focused on bringing those customer based on the behavior we identified about the customer, demographics we identified. So we mentioned, okay, I need people with more disposable income. So let me target people between 40 to maybe 50 years old. And men are more prone to buy from us. Then maybe men who have degree and above, graduation above, have better chances of buying from us. So these were the details we input the algorithm, or we not input the algorithm, we demand the algorithm that these are the type of customer I am planning to target. But this has changed in last 3 years. So right now, what you can do is you leave about your interest, your behavior, whatever you have analyzed about that customer. You just input the algorithm or input the platform. These are 100 people who have bought from us, okay, in last 1 year or 2 years. Okay, so a person A bought our product for this much value. So whenever I say input the algorithm or input the data, you have a basic option of importing the data in an Excel format to the platform. Okay, person A, email ID, phone number, and how much they have bought from you. So these are the list of people. So again, there are different ways you can input the algorithm. One is third party data, but right, as years goes by, the dependency on third party data are becoming
No,
irrelevant because
that
then
will deprecate. That will deprecate
yeah,
actually.
soon. So
Now the
cookie
platforms are
based
mainly focused on first-party data. Yeah, you are saying it right.
yes.
Yeah,
So
people are actually are less dependent on third-party data right now, and it
yeah,
will increase. It will decrease gradually. People
yeah,
are more
soon.
prone for first-party data nowadays. Yes.
Yeah. So
You
there
may
are
continue. You may
countries,
continue.
basically, there are countries in Europe, they, by legal means, they have banned tracking third-party details, okay? Or we have to give consent. In India, that is not the situation right now. You can still, target a person based on the third-party details you are having available in your system, like, cookie-based tracking, I would say, because these details are coming from browser. Okay, that is moving more towards server-side tracking. Okay, so you need first-party data. Okay, the first-party data, you have the name or contact details about that person. So when you are feeding, even now when you are feeding the algorithm with the third-party details available, I would say, okay, add on top of that the first-party data you have available with you. Let's say your Facebook, your account knows who have bought from you from the website data, from the cookie-based data. Let's say there are 1,000 people who have bought from you. There are good chances that out of 1,000, only 800 have opted for the cookie-based tracking. But you are missing on the 200 people who have not opted in for the
And
cookie-based tracking.
that would be an important chunk of the consumer base.
Important chunk. Now, see, this 80 and 20 percentage in coming years is going to be 50 percentage, or more people are going to opt out from the cookie-based tracking, because we all are kind of I would say messed up with this tracking system. You visit a website, then you get bunch of marketing communication from those companies. Market is getting better educated on this topic, and people are moving out of the tracking system. There are many people whenever they are searching for a flight ticket, they go on to an incognito window and search. So if they are going on to an incognito window and search, definitely cookie based tracking is going to be irrelevant at that area, right? So every time whenever you are setting your audience, have that third party details and top it off with the first party details you are having available with you. Okay. So again, going back to your questions, at the moment, you can feed Meta's or Google's algorithm with the data you have available. So these platforms are going to do a better job than you, okay, in targeting your ideal customer profile. So if you come up with an ideal customer profile of, 10 different data points, but the platform have 50,000 data points to analyze, they have the better understanding about your ideal customer profile. So always keep the algorithm fed.
Yeah, fine. I need to add a point here. See, yesterday while I had a discussion with a student of mine, while she asked me a question about that advantage audience parameters, should we go in depth for interest targeting and behavior targeting in advantage campaign?
Okay.
So I told her very clearly that that's not needed, because advantage itself is an AI powered system where it has many hidden layers of studying the profile. What should be the ideal content should be precisely targeted to that customer. So the major problem what people are facing here in India, according to my experience in India and small companies in GCC and all, is that these people are more prone to interest targeting and behavior targeting rather than telling the algorithm to give you the ideal customer profile per se and the objective which you have to meet. So I need to ask you, Ameen, one thing, that basically my preference will be that 90% of the campaigns or 70% of the campaigns which you are running right now should be on a broad targeting. Fine.
Cool. Yeah.
And what's your perspective on that? People should go on broad targeting, or people should go for interest targeting and behavior targeting, or people should go for multiple interest targeting in an ad set? So what would be your take on that?
Very good question. So, okay, that's an absolutely wonderful question, which is most relevant to right now.
Yes. No,
okay,
see,
so,
I listen to on all my consultation calls or on all my doubt clearing sessions on this community which I have. These people ask me that why are you people so hesitant to go broad?
Okay. Cool.
Why are you so hesitant to go broad? See, why I am hesitant to go broad is that the algorithm is right now in a situation where it can easily understand what is your intention. It's we can't say it's a black magic. It's not a magic. It's a data pattern which algorithm studies. I rather say that Facebook algorithm is the algorithm which is most ready for any types of situation towards ad platforms.
Yeah.
Facebook is the broadest learned algorithm right now available in the world on the behavior pattern. If you're talking on the impulse buyers, on the intent buyers, I agree that Google has more data than us.
Yeah.
And Google and Facebook has agreements in between so that these people can share both data. So what's your take on broad target right now, rather than go for interest target? And what is the relevance of interest and behavior target right now in terms of broad targeting nowadays?
Okay. So thing is, as you have already mentioned, okay, Meta's algorithm or these platforms algorithm has become super cool, I would say. Okay, that has evolved in past years, and now all we could do is, instead of using instead of giving a very hyper focused a small teeny tiny fragment of the market as a target. Okay.
Absolutely. Yes.
Instead, you can feed this this input as a signal to the system. Let me explain that. Okay. So first, in an ad set, okay, in an ad set, especially, I'm gonna talk about CBO campaigns. Okay, it was earlier termed as CBO. It has now changed. It's advantage campaign
Now it's
budget
a
right now.
campaign based objective.
Yes.
Advantage campaign something.
Budget. Yes. So it was CBO earlier. So what does CBO do? So under CBO, if you have 10 different ad set, Meta is gonna choose the one which is performing the best. Okay, and is gonna spend most of his budget on that particular ad set. Now imagine under a CBO campaign, you have 2 broad campaigns and 5 different interest campaign. Okay, so when I say broad campaign, it could be advantage plus or leave it. I mean, like, it's just broad campaign. Okay, in one broad campaign, you are having 3 different ads. Okay, so one broad campaign, you have 3 different ads, and you have another broad campaign ad set, and maybe 5 different ads. So why I have mentioned 2 different broad campaigns is because, let's say you have published an ad set today with 3 different ads. Now, after a week, if you're publishing new ads, it should not go into the same ad set. That's gonna, impact the performance in an adverse way.
I want to pause for a moment. I want to ask a very interesting question there. See, what will be the importance of learning, relearning, learning, and relearning if we are going into this aspect? What would be the importance of learning and relearning on the perspective of that choosing the best ad set in CBO campaigns, and we are iterating that ad set and stuff like that? If you can give me a glimpse of what would it be the importance of,
Absolutely. So again, thing is, as I said, in one ad set, if you are publishing an ad set with 3 or 5 different ads, you have to leave it for at least 2 weeks, minimum 1 week. Okay, to exit out of the learning phase. Now imagine it has already exited out of the learning phase. The Meta has a better understanding of which ads are performing really well.
The interesting parts start now. The interesting stuff starts now. That you have already exited the learning phase. Okay.
Exited the learning phase. Now imagine, see, this has done the learning phase. Now again, you are putting it back into the learning phase. It has to do all the job by itself if you are injecting a new ads into the existing learned ad set. Okay. Let's say you have 3 or 5 different ads. You again want to understand, test. Okay. Is that really performing? And maybe there are good chances that the new creatives you are coming up could outperform the existing one. But it should not go to the same ad set which have already exited that learning phase. It should be a new ad set. Okay, it should be a new ad set with 3 or 5 different ads you are having new. So every time you are having a pack of creatives to target, it should be a new ad set. So ad set 1 learns, ad set 2 learns. In between the learning, you don't have to interrupt. Let that learn and exit out of the learning phase. If you want to test performance of new creatives with the existing ad set, let it be new ad set. So thing is, in a broad level, we have couple of ad set, targeting with multiple different ads. Now, once you have identified the best ads, the best winning creatives, that's the only time when you can go after the interest-based targeting. Cool. So you have broad ad set. Under that, you have multiple ads. You identify the winning creatives. You move it to the same campaign, same CBO campaign, but in a new ad set. you are going after the interest. Now, again, if you are going after interest, let's say you are running a campaign for shoes, okay, running shoes. So you should not mention different interest in the same ad set. So what will happen if you have multiple interest in the same ad set? It's gonna just be the same as a broad campaign. Okay, so let's say you want to target for selling shoes. You target people who are interested in brand like Nike, Adidas, Puma, all different brand you mentioned. It's the same as broad. I mean, what else you are doing in broad? You are not asking, Meta, okay, go after
See,
everyone. No, that's what we are saying.
I need to just clarify a bit there. See, according to my experience on a small budget people, these people, what they tends to do is that they don't have an actual media plan how to implement this. These people will go to their managerial people and they say that we need conversations or we need leads. At the first place, we are not bothered about the brand per se, or we are not bothered about the brand recall or brand lift. We are only bothered about the conversation or the lead which you should have. And unfortunately, when you people are doing it on the way that we are first of all initiating or igniting the middle of the funnel structure, where you don't have a brand recall or brand lift or organic reach or something. In this first place, what happens is that these people will be confused that how they should talk to the consumer. These people will be only having a pressurized mind that I should get a lead, or I should initiate a conversation. So these people will rather go to a messenger campaign, or they will go to a lead campaign, where they will be getting maximum chunk of the cold leads which are not interested in having a conversation on a positive way. Okay, they will get some leads. So what happens is that according to your explanation, what I tend to understand is that broad is the best way to learn the algorithm. So I teach my people that there are four sets of learning for a Meta account. One will be an account level learning, next will be a campaign level learning, that will be an ad set level learning, and next will be an ad level learning. And I say that Meta study on the organic learnings also. Meta study on your own signals in the organic space. What all types of signals are already present? What all types of signal inference they have on a brand positive sentiment? You have an marketing where consumer has tendency to look to you, to understand you. These things are studied by Meta on a very broad perspective. So what I understood from your conversation is that if you're putting it on numbers, that first of all, you on a strategy level, you go for a broad targeting first. You tell the account or the campaign level to study on the patterns which is most ideal for the consumer whom you are selling or initiating a conversation. After that learning is initiated, then you can go for little bit of interest targeting to tweak the process and to tell the system to understand. But my question to you there is that on that process, do we need custom audience, or do we again go to the broad audience for that optimization?
Good. Okay. So you're going to the scaling campaign. You have just mentioned, scaling campaigns here. So this was our
in
process.
Kerala, where we both are residing.
Okay.
Meta is a lucky company. I should say that Meta is a very lucky company because around, from my understanding, around 60 to 65% of people who are using Meta doesn't have a best practice understanding.
Okay.
These poor chaps doesn't have an understanding of the best practices to be implemented on Meta, which is given publicly by Meta. You get a snake, you put a dice, you get a ladder. These types of games, they are playing with the algorithm. So my aim is that through this podcast, we should tell the customer that at least you study the best practices for each niche.
Okay.
Each niche. So you can continue on that.
Cool. So, okay. So since you have mentioned about the best structure, see, I have, since I'm answering this question from 2025, I have a completely new tested structure, which has been doing a wonderful task in last 6 months. Okay. More than 9 months, I would say. Okay. So this was not the structure I have been following.
2024.
Yes. So this was not the structure I have been following in the beginning. This is the most refined structure curated for 2024 and 2025.
So
Okay.
could you give a glimpse to that structure right now in the conversation?
Cool. So as I said, your prospecting campaigns, okay, the campaigns that are meant to target broad audience. Okay, what is the objective of prospecting campaigns? Acquiring customers, right? So you could acquire customer.
Let me add you one more point. Sorry to interrupt you. We are on a very heated discussion right now, but sorry to interrupt you. While I was taking class to people in Kerala, I asked them basically, those people who are working in companies, I asked them basically, my dear students, are you have a proper command structure for your ad? So they asked me, what is this, sir? And I'm not blaming those people because those people should be taught by the senior people in the company. So I asked them, what is prospecting campaign? What is targeting campaign? What is retargeting campaign? And stuff like that. These people said, sir, on a very frank note, we are first of all hearing it from your mouth.
Oh.
First of all, we are hearing it from your mouth because we have no idea that you people have to structure it in this way. I said that this is a necessity that you should do. Now you can start with the prospecting stuff.
Fine. Okay. So again, prospecting is nothing but those campaigns which are targeting absolutely new audience. Okay. They have never heard about your product yet or service yet or company yet. You are going after them. And retargeting campaigns are campaigns that are meant to target people who are engaged with your brand. Okay, it could be engaged with your Instagram, Facebook, it could be post, it could be any ad, but they have engaged with it. Okay, it could be product or brand. Now retention campaigns focuses only on existing customers. Okay, now let me tell an interesting thing here. Let's say a person have came and added product into their cart. Okay, that's not retention. Okay, that's a high level retargeting campaign. He has added the product into cart, but he hasn't purchased it. He is same as person who have liked your Facebook or Instagram post, unless you have a very high unless you are spending a high amount on Meta. Okay, so it should be different for stocks for different folks. Okay, if you are having spending more than 50 lakh rupees in Meta or Google Ads, I would say you have to retarget, or your retargeting strategy for people who have engaged with your post and people who have added the product into cart should be different. But now we are talking about campaigns where you are spending less than 10 lakhs rupees a month. So in that case, you can put all your retargeting campaigns, okay, all your retargeting strategies into one campaign, but we will have different ad sets. Okay, cool. So again, prospecting is meant to target new customers who they haven't engaged with your brand yet. Then retargeting, they have engaged with your brand. It could be add to cart. It could be engaged on your,
let me have
ads.
A clarity thought on that. Let me have a clarity thought on that. Like prospecting campaigns, you will be running with your inventory, like on awareness campaign, reach campaign, traffic campaign, so on and so forth.
Okay,
and
cool.
On your retargeting campaign, you will be initiating with messenger campaigns, lead campaigns, and video campaigns.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
So branding campaigns, awareness campaign, I'll put in a different notes. Okay, maybe we can discuss all these things on a different podcast. Here I'm talking only about absolutely about conversion campaign, sales campaigns.
Fine.
Okay. So in prospecting campaign, the objective is to get new customers. So what happens in prospecting campaign is, as we said, we will have, let's say we have 3 different broad ad sets. So it's targeting audience at a broad level, but you have different creatives under each ad set. So what will happen there? Their ROAS is going to be roughly, less than 2. I would say less than 3x. I would 300%. So you spend 1,000 rupees on Meta. Maximum you could expect from prospecting campaigns is 3,000 rupees back. But why we are still continuing? Or see, in my campaigns I'm spending more than 80% on prospecting campaign. The reason is that has high scalability. Okay, it could scale faster when you are having 200% or 250% ROAS on a broad campaign. Imagine it's broad. Okay, see, if it is interest-based campaign, what will happen once that audience exhausts or saturate? The performance is going to vanish, right? It's going to depreciate. So let's say you have an interest, you are targeting only people who have who have, those are engaged shoppers. So engaged shoppers, it's not a very big. So imagine, just check your audience size when you're going broad and interest. When you are going on an interest targeting, it's very small, right? So it's going to saturate. It may give you higher ROAS in the initial phase, but you can't scale. Okay, so you are building a business not for 2 months, right? Not for 3 months or not for 6 months. It has to go for long. So if it has to scale profitably for long period, then in broad, even if it is 200% or 150%, spend on it. So you have multiple broad that has lower ROAS. Then you took the winning ads into an interest-based ad set that has better ROAS. You continue all of them, but under CBO campaign. So if it is under CBO, let's say in one day, if your interest campaigns, interest ad set are performing, then Meta is going to put the budget more into the interest campaign, interest 1. Okay. Then next day, interest 2 is performing. It's going to spend there. Next day, interest 3 is performing. It's going to spend there. And then all these interest groups are not performing well. What will happen? It's CBO, right? So on that day, your broad campaigns are performing. It's going to spend there. So every day, okay, at that time, Meta checks, or whichever platform you are using, it checks which ad sets are performing. If it is broad, it will spend there. If it is interest, it will spend there. So automatically, you are gonna have the best cost per website purchase. Okay. Now,
Okay.
That's a prospecting campaign. Now you need to operate at scale. Only those winners, okay, only those winners you will duplicate and move it to a scaling campaign. It could be advantage sales campaign. Okay. So advantage sales campaign under CPO.
That's an area where we both have a synergy, because on sales campaign, the best method to scale up would be right now advantage. You don't have to go for manual campaigns, because Meta's algorithm is so vast and so important for a sales campaign, because according to my understanding, around 30 to 35% of all media buyers for Meta inventory will be looking for objective of sales campaign and their real estate. Means you mean the digital real estate where we can show their ads.
Yeah.
So what you said is absolutely right, because on a sales perspective, if you want to scale a campaign, the best option would be advantage plus campaign.
Yes,
but that would be right. You can continue.
Only the condition is you have to come up with the winning creatives from your CBO, the first CBO prospecting campaign. If it is not winning creative, imagine, see, as you said, Meta's algorithm know who your ideal customer is at this moment, because you have spent a lot on CBO campaigns. But if your ad sets your creatives are poor, underperforming, why should you move it to a new campaign and scale? Okay. When you're operating at scale, you are putting major chunks, a big bet on those particular campaigns. Make sure that you have better chances of success there. So only move your winning creatives from CBO campaigns. Again, I'm saying, whenever you are moving, this is a secret source. Okay. Whenever you are moving it from CBO campaigns, you should not pause the campaign under CBO. If it is working, leave it. Okay. If it is not working, you can turn it off. But if it is working, let it continue to perform. Okay. You are not pausing it even after moving it to a scaling campaign. Scaling campaign is a new thing. And again, people are often confused that, okay, if there are two different, ad set competing the same audience, would there be an auction overlap? No. Okay, if you just check, go to Google and search
what would be
overlap.
The ideal audience overlap we should look into?
Okay, see, basically audience overlap can happen. Audience overlap means, see, you have an audience set here, and let's say under CBO campaign, you have an audience set, and even at scale campaign, you have the same audience set. So the auction, the audience is 100% matching. But what happens is, in auction, from the same account, if there are two different ad sets entering the same auction, what Meta does is, these two ad sets won't compete each other. Let's say under my campaign, there are two ad set 1 and ad set 2. Both are entering the same auction. Now, this will not cause the price of the second ad set to increase. Okay. Let's say one ad set is targeting t-shirt buyers, the other ad set is targeting shoe buyers. Okay. And shoe generally sells at 5,000 rupees. T-shirt generally sells at 500 rupees. Now imagine that okay,
So,
you are targeting the same
let
audience.
me have your pause there. If both of the products are having a similar price point, suppose मान लो कि एक product को around 4,000 है और दूसरा product को around you can say 6,000.
Okay.
And both are the same you can say same space or same niche. In that situation, what happens?
The one that has the highest conversion value will enter the auction. Okay, so Meta knows that, okay, you are targeting the same person. Let's say you are targeting Latheef. Latheef is scrolling through Instagram right now, and there are two ads that targeting Latheef right now from your account. One is for shoes, other one is for t-shirt. As you said, one is 4,000 rupees product, another one is 6,000 rupees product. 6,000 will enter the auction because that gives you the big bang for the buck. Let
me ask you again a question there. On this pattern, I have a doubt or I have an intuition in my mind that Meta will be actually studying about the organic buying prospective of a profile like me, who is actually researching every type of content in this niche, and will be having a mind about buying this product from the website which is advertising that product. मान लो कि ऐसा, if that types of things also come into perspective, right? When an algorithm thinks about the conversion capacity of a profile.
Yeah.
Am I in the same pitch?
Yes. See, thing is, now again, I'm talking about from the official documentation of Meta, they have said more than you are talking about intent, right? So the intent at that time, there are chances that you might be more prone to buying t-shirt than buying shoes. Okay. Shoes has higher conversion value, but
that's the thing what I was meant to. Yes, you said it from my mind. Yeah. Okay, fine.
Cool. So in that case, according to Meta and their official documentation, they said, okay, that will push the one with the highest conversion value, which is going to be the shoes in your case. But that is only the moment I'm talking in the same auction. But there comes other auction. It's not only one placement, right? You scroll through the Instagram. See, you know how much time on an average a person spent on Instagram? It's going to be 41 minutes. Okay. And session average session time
if you're talking about Gen Z and Gen Alpha,
it's more.
That will be around 1 to 1.5 to 2 hours, 2 hours, 4 minutes or so. If you're talking about from the age group like what we are, from 28 to around 55 age of group, it will be like 41 minutes, 42. Yeah, you're saying
42
is right.
minutes. Okay. Now the difference between 42 minutes of average time in Instagram and 45 minutes of average time in YouTube is that when I check the data, out of 45 minutes in YouTube, average session time is 41 minutes, which means the entire thing happens in one stretch. If you are going into YouTube and having 45 minutes of watch time, it happens generally in one stretch, okay, in one session. But in Instagram, it happens, average session time is 6 minutes. So you check Instagram for 6 minutes, come back, 6 minutes, come back, 6 minutes, come back. And that's how you accumulate 41 minutes. Now imagine, see, it's a different time. So you check in the morning, afternoon, and in the evening. There are different placements available. So if you see t-shirt ad right now, then you can see shoes ad, then t-shirt ad, shoes ad. There are wide variety of wide opportunities with Meta where they could possibly inject the ads that the same account is targeting. So yeah. At that moment, it's going to be the one that has higher conversion value. Yes. Again, going back to your question. So in scaling campaign, it's going to be pure broad, but at the sales campaign, you are moving only winning creative. Even if you move it from your CBO campaign to your scaling campaign, you are not turning it off here because it's already working. Okay. It has exited the learning phase. Even if you're moving into a new ASC campaign, which is scaling campaign, it's going to be a new learning phase. Why do you have to stop the one which has already given you the best bang for the buck? So continue it here unless you are very clear about the new ASC campaign you have published. Cool. So the prospecting campaign is done. You have prospecting campaign, which is CBO, that is purely testing your audience, okay, and creatives. But the winning creatives goes to your scaling campaign. Then comes your retargeting campaign and retention campaign. Okay. Now in retargeting campaign, generally I get a ROAS of these days 300%. It was 50%, 3 years,
Means
5
you
years
get a
ago.
ROAS of around 3. You get a ROAS of 3.
Like around 3x or 300%. Then comes
Okay.
the retention campaign that is only focusing on existing customers, where ROAS is going to be 400% roughly. Okay.
Yeah.
But
But we
the
have to
question.
keep in mind our targeting option, our creative option, our communication, our ideal customer profile, and whom Meta is actually optimizing that content. On that note, what you said is absolutely have a sync that the framework which you explained will be having a great synergy.
So we have covered how a prospecting campaign should look like. Then we'll talk about retention and retargeting campaign. As I said, okay, in retargeting campaign, generally the ROAS is going to be above 300% or 3x. You spend 1 rupee, you get 3 back. And in retention campaign, it's going to be, because it's already an existing customer, right? They have already built trust with you. If you have a great product to offer, they will come back and buy from you. It's going to be more like a repeat purchases. So in retention campaign, your ROAS is going to be over 400%. So there would be a questions only between the people who are entering e-commerce space. Okay, experienced people will not have this question. So your prospecting campaigns is returning at 250% or 200%. Your retargeting campaign is returning at 300%. Then retention campaign 400%. Why can't I put all my budget in retention and retargeting campaign? Because it's giving me a higher return over ad spend. Now the thing is, what's your audience size? I'm talking about broad audience in prospecting campaign. You spend 1 lakh rupees a day, still it's going to go after new audiences. Okay, but if you spend the same amount in retention and retargeting, it's going to be high frequency.
You can take it on a common note. See,
yeah.
For example, you have 100 liters of petrol on your car engine. Car will try to give you a maximum acceleration, and it will take time to learn what will be the optimum amount of petrol to be given to car, so that this car will be having a great optimization on terms of the mileage. If you are pumping in gas more and more, what happens is this doesn't have a capacity to understand. The same situation goes to an algorithm, because you are pumping more and more money, where you are not giving time to optimize on the system.
Yeah.
What happens is that this will go in a learning loop. That learning loop is not going to come out.
Yeah.
So actually what you're saying is that you should have a correct media plan or a media spending plan, where you will be giving this much for learning, this much for prospecting, this much for scaling, and this much for conversion. That as a human being, you should understand.
Yeah, I'll give you a rough figure. Okay. So if your audience size is good enough, 70% will go to the prospecting campaign, 15% will go to the retargeting campaign, and 15% will go to the retention campaign. But the campaign which I'm recently managing, 80%, okay, 80 to 90% is going into the broad campaign, because there is huge opportunity there. Every day I'm acquiring new customers. Okay. Then in retargeting campaign, 5 to 10%, and again retention campaign just 5 to 10%. It's a huge budget. Okay, I'm spending for one brand. I'm spending almost 1 lakh rupees a day, 70,000 rupees a day. So I can spend this much. This is my split between prospecting, retargeting, and retention campaign. But you can have 70%, up to 70% on prospecting campaigns. Yeah. Then again, the problem, you have to check the frequency also. Okay, that's when I said, okay, as moving forward, though I said 15% on retargeting campaign, but if the frequency is going very high, okay, it's going to build a negative sentiments for the brand. Let's say a person has added your product into cart, then they are seeing that product 5 times a day or 3 times a day continuously for 7 days. It's very salesy, it's very pushy. What they want. Okay, once they have added your product into the cart, then I could say your frequency is going to be once a day. Okay, they see your ads. That also not the same ad. Okay, you should have in your retargeting bucket, you should have variety of ads. Okay, it could be product demos, it could be user testimonial, and offers, a lot of other things. So they see one ad today, next day, next one next day, then next one the other day, and average in my campaigns.
No, we will be having a full clear podcast on this stuff the coming days. That we
Okay.
have to teach the people the how can we structure. We can have an architecture on how to structure your account on based on different niches, different industries.
Yeah.
I was having a thought in my mind that we will be talking about today about the stuff like different niche, what would be the ideal CPM and stuff. We will keep it aside.
Cool.
We have already elaborated many stuff for the market, for the audience right now. And I hope that the audience who are having an experience of around 3 to 5 years will be having a great resonance with the what the content we have talked to today. So we will be winding up right now.
Okay,
We will
cool.
be having the next session to be recorded on hopefully tomorrow or day after tomorrow.
Sure.
And I hope that this content will have a great resonance with the people who are in the mid-tier of their career right now. Thank you, Ameen, for being a good explainer and good person who have resonated with my thought process.
Yeah.
I, as a growth marketer, tell this to many people across the globe and across the domains and different niches that these are the structures you should keep upon. And you are having a great resonance with me in the thought process what I have. Actually,
Absolute
we both
pleasure.
are studying algorithms on a straight way. We both are actually understanding the algorithm. We both are studying the algorithm. We both are having a resonance that the algorithm will be thinking in this way. Because we both are actually not a performance marketers. We both are actually data scientists. We are not performance marketers because we are not like an Sada Admi who is doing a sales campaign. We are a data scientist who is understanding the algorithm and who is understanding the customer persona, who is understanding the ICP. And we are amalgamating everything together in such a way that this should be having an ideal impact on the algorithm where Meta is playing on.
Yeah.
So I wholeheartedly thank you for the time, like around 50 minutes, which you have taken today. And hopefully people will have a great resonance on this. And this is our first podcast in English.
Yeah.
We will be delivering it regularly on our YouTube channel from today onwards. Thank you for a host. Thank you for your time. And we
Thanks
shall
for
meet
having
together.
me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Great
you.
time. I enjoyed it.